Alright, if your Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, several other brands, apparently if it has these 6 oval LEDs and a pause button, you are likely going to have this problem. I could not find any videos with a model like ours, but we've gone ahead and got everything disconnected. Water lines, drain hose, all off. Some of these units you have to tip on their backs, and some you don't, but I couldn't find any that were just like mine. So we're gonna go ahead and make this video. This screw, and this screw are the main 3 that we need to remove to take the top off. In this case, this one will remove this cover. This cover just kind of rotates about 90 degrees and then pulls straight out of those tabs. And on this unit there's this extra cover that kind of conceals that hole and also holds it in. Alright, an important note: when we go pop the cover off, or this lid, that this ear will engage with this slot on both sides and help stabilize it. And if you're able to, in our case, we put some sliders under here, so we'll be able to easily rotate this against the wall to hold this top. We're going to put a piece of blue tape to hold this lid shut. On these units, this lid will pull forward. You'll have to raise up a little bit and you'll feel it catch and push back, and it will lift up. And that's a good time to engage those ears. We might have to pull this out a little bit more space. Definitely helps have some sliders or something under there. These rubber feet don't want to move real easy. We have our blue tape holding the lid. So we've had this open, troubleshooting it, and during that process I didn't think that these were bad. Many people say that if you push down on the drum and it continues to bounce, then your suspension rods are bad. Well, ours does not. Just like a car shock, it returns back immediately, but it definitely seems loose in here. There's evidence of when it's been wobbling. Saw some people saying it's a hub. Well, we've discovered what the problem is. Zoomed way in there. It's hard to see, but the rod is allowed to wobble in that socket, and there's a little bit of play there, and that's what we have going on. Count one of the new units. It's very tight on the suspension rod, and so very subtle. Definitely what our problem is. It's really just worn out on the actual rod itself, and I had not seen that anywhere. So that's what we're gonna do, is get these swapped. Now some of these models you do have to disconnect from the top and lay them down on their backs, but in this case, this model in particular has the side slot, and I think it's because it's a newer model than many of the ones I had seen. So it should make it a lot easier. You don't have to lay this thing down at all. Should be able to do them one at a time from the top. Alright, the new bearing is a little redesigned from the old ones. It doesn't look like the push up and twist requirement is there anymore. It looks like it'll just slide right on and hook in a little bit easier and more straightforward. It does kind of look like this, so I have to get snapped around the rod, so you want to pay attention to that. And also be mindful to go ahead and pull out the old bearing cup, which is actually under this existing bearing. So we'll get this rod out, pop the old cup out, pop the new cup in, push down, twist, and this will come right out, and then let this rod go ahead. The old one works right out of there. Alright, we're going to pop this old bearing cup out. There's the old parts. Pop the new bearing cup in. Snaps in. And the drum's going to want to sag. We're going to have to slip right in there. And that engages. That'll work. this thing over and up. And it's just a matter of repeating the last 3. All should be pretty straightforward on this unit. And not having to tip it on its back makes this much faster. Alright, all 4 new ones are in. Not gonna lie, on the surface it doesn't seem all that different. It's a little tighter for sure, but I don't know if it's enough to make the whole difference. So we'll get this thing reconnected and give it a test. I'm pulling the lid down, make sure to engage. It's gonna sit like that. You need to pull forward, it will drop down, and then push back. Cover back on, screws back in. Don't need to insult anybody by showing that, just in reverse order. We're gonna put new water lines on. All right, if you have made a repair to your washing machine, particularly with the 6 LEDs here in the start button, you likely need to calibrate. And even if you've just moved your washing machine, most don't know that if you've just moved it, relocated it in the house, moved between houses, you need to recalibrate to get it back on balance. All right, on this unit, to get into the service diagnostic mode, we got to kind of spin to reset and start here at 9, and then we need to go up 3, back 1, and then back 1. And you'll get all the lights blinking. And then to go into calibration mode, you want to roll until only rinse is illuminated, and then press start, and you'll sort of get this sequence. Lid will lock, and it will begin the calibration mode test. It's going to go through various cycles, stopping, starting, kind of goes a little crazy, but does its thing. And it will be finished when all the lights are out and the lid lock is off. Definitely make sure to do this anytime. Have moved it, serviced it, even if you just take it out to work on the flooring, if you move houses. And then there's various repairs that require recalibration, and the suspension rods, which we did, is definitely one of them. Still getting a little shimming and shaking, but it seems to have taken out the shaking and the banging. So that must have been it. It's really more or less conspicuous than many of the tests I've seen, where they'll shake the drum and it keeps wobbling around. But no, it seems to have taken care of it.